Hello everybody, Jardis here, and in today's video I have recently received a request from a Gabriel Boko, or at least I think it's pronounced Boko, I do apologize if it is not, requesting that I make a Core Mesmer build that focuses on condition damage with a price range around 15 to 20 gold. Now, before I get into this, I do have to point out that this will not be the greatest Mesmer build in the game, although this does act as a starting point for those who would like to learn about the class. You are welcome to use the build as is listed after I get into it, or use it as a starting point in order to experiment and branch out and come up with your own ideas. Now, what we will be using in terms of the gear, we will be using the Kilbron set, KHILBRON''S, which has the same stats as the Rabbit set, although this is a more cheaper alternative. We will be using Superior Runes of the Undead, because this is a condition build we want to maximize on our condition damage. We will be using, in terms of weapons, a Rabid Scepter and a Rabid Pistol. The sigils we will be using will be Agony to increase our bleeding duration, and Sigils of Earth to inflict even more bleeding, because bleeding will be our primary condition that we will be inflicting, but we will also be inflicting other forms of condition damages as well as blinding, vulnerability, as well as some tormenting as well. Now, if we had a higher gold limit, we could transfer this into a tormenting build, which unfortunately is a lot more expensive to make, but I am trying to keep within the limits that Gabriel has requested of me. For the trinkets, we will be using 2 bone fragments of Tequatl, 2 rabid rings, a rabid amulet, and although I am using a lucky Great Boar Lantern back piece, I would strongly suggest using the Rabid Spine Guard for a cheaper alternative. This just happens to be the one that I had on this character at the time of this recording. We will also be using 6 crests of the rabbit in each of the trinkets, back pieces, amulets, and rings. To purchase all of this gear, as well as the sigils, runes, weapons, trinkets, and upgrades, with the exception of the Rabbit Spine Guard, this comes to a total of 17 gold and 61 silver at the time of this recording. Now, those prices can change depending on whether or not what is going on with the trading post. Some items may go up in price, others may go down in price, but as of this recording, the total cost for all of this gear is 17 gold and 61 silver. Now, as for the build, we will be going Illusions, Domination, and Dueling. For Illusions, we are going 1, 3, 2. For Domination, we are going 3, 1, 2. And for Dueling, we are going 3, 1, 3. For Illusion 1s, we are going Shatterstorm, because this will make it so that our F1 ability becomes usable multiple times. It basically becomes an ammo skill, which means we can use it twice before we have to have it recharge itself. The reason why we are using this is because, although we are going for a condition damage build, we will be strongly focused on creating illusions and using them to shatter to inflict those conditions. For the Maim of the Dissolution, shatter skills now inflict torment on a hit. This is the primary reason why we want to get as many illusions and clones out as possible, because as soon as we shatter them, not only will they be doing normal damage, but they will be inflicting torment in addition to all other forms of damage that they will be inflicting. And for Master of the Fragmentation, our shatter skills are improved. For example, the Mind Rack, which is the new ammo skill for our illusions, will be increasing our critical hit chance by 25%. Now for Domination, we're going Render the Shatter. Shatter skills inflict vulnerability on hit. This is again another condition condition that we will be inflicting when we use our shatter skills. Our shatter skills will become the primary focus of this build. Shatter concentration. Shatter skills also remove a boon on hits. This is basically to further hamper our enemies. If they have various forms of boons on them, this will take care of that. And for mental anguish, shatter skills deal more damage. This bonus damage is doubled against foes that are not activating skills. Although we cannot tell whether or not our foes will be activating the skill when we use our shatters, we still want that double damage. Now for the Dueling 3, Duelist Discipline. Pistol attacks from you and your illusions have a chance to cause bleeding. Again, as I stated earlier, bleeding will be our primary condition damage, and this only adds to that effectiveness. For the Blinding Dissipation, Shatter Skill 2 inflicts blindness. This one is a relatively customizable ability, I suppose you can say. It just basically inflicts blindness. It is perhaps one of the weaker of the skills that we will be using, but out of this trait line, it is perhaps the most useful of the versus the other two options that we have available. Also, it inflicts blindness, which is another condition. So we're sticking with the condition build here. Now for Deceptive Evasion, create a clone at your current position when you dodge. This is again another clone generation. Now, even though will be creating another illusion when you dodge, that will add again to more shatter skills. Now for our selectable skills, we will be using Ether Feast. Heal yourself and gain additional healing for each active clone. Again, we are going to be making a lot of clones with this build, so this will become very important when we need to heal. We will be using Mirror Images to summon 2 clones to attack our foes. This will be another form of clone generation. We will be using the Signet of Domination to improve our condition damage, because since we are staying with a condition build, we want to be able to give ourselves as much condition damage improvement as much as possible. Also, when you activate this to stun our foes, it provides a relatively really good Defiance break. For this is the Signet of Illusions, where we create a clone every few seconds. Again, another clone generator. And then finally, we will be taking Signet of Humility to reduce durations of incoming stuns, dazes, fears, and taunts. And to use it, it transforms our foes into a Moa Bird. This one is actually a relatively strong Defiance bar break. So especially against those who have regenerating Defiance bars, this will help take care of that, even though it doesn't seem to be listed there. Now, to test this build, I am currently standing at the bottom of the Creeping Crevasse next to the Shipwreck Peak waypoint, which is in Verdant Brink. This is Heart of Thorns expansion. And there is a hero point beneath me that I am going to do this build on. So let us just go down here, accept the challenge, and see what happens. Now, when you get your clones out, unless you need them for healing like I am right now, I strongly suggest you use them as much as possible in the shatter skills, because we will be dealing a lot of bleeding, bleeding, vulnerability, and tormenting, as you can see down there. We want to keep our distance, because our primary attacks will be ranged. You want to keep an eye on your health, but I would strongly recommend only using your health skill when you have 3 illusions. Now, where is that last one? Huh, apparently we are missing a... Where'd he go? Oh, is he up there? Ah, there he is. Tried to hide from us. Apparently, we're too scary. Anyway, that is how the build runs, and I do apologize for that little interruption there at the end. Anyway, feel free to use this build if you enjoy, or feel free to use it as a starting point for your own builds. I hope you enjoy. Feel free to share this information with anybody who's interested in making a Core Condition Mesmer build, and I will see you again in the next video. Happy gaming!